and drinking, and all of a sudden he got in an argument with some guy. They go outside. The guy throws a punch, he ducks, he hits the guy falls down, hits his head on a planter and dies. This guy, who was just sitting at a bar having a drink, spent 6 years in prison. Okay, felony manslaughter. So the point of all that shit is you avoid the fight. So you have to learn, there's a few things that people are going to say. For example, you're going to say to me, what the hell or what the heck are you looking at, okay? Go ahead. Angry.
What the hell are you looking at?
That shirt, man, where'd you get that shirt? Yeah. That's a really cool shirt, I like that. And it stops the whole thing, okay? How about, what's your problem?
What's your problem?
My dad died last night, and I just came in here. My wife left me. That is the one that you have to learn almost as much as learning how to defend yourself. Is to avoid all that bullshit, because you don't want to spend 6 years in prison just because you hit a dude and he falls down and hits his head on a plant. All right? Verbal jujitsu. Learn it. And drinking, and all of a sudden you
Shalom, Yashar Allah. First and foremost, I'd like to give all glory, honor, and infinite praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Chakodash. Double honor to the beloved elders and the apostles at Great Millstone that taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to all you hopeful lectakim out there laboring that are preaching this word in truth and in sincerity. This is your brother Amar from the GMS Boise, Idaho camp. And I'm coming to this lesson, just as a reminder. I heard a couple of brothers, talk about this topic, how, brothers are definitely, amping up in the spirit, but understand, when and how and where to use that sword, which is the scriptures, the word of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, because us being in this truth, brothers, the brothers in Great Millstone and those teaching the correct doctrine, we understand that we are held at a higher standard than these other people in the world, because we do understand these things and how they work in the world and different spirits that jump on people and why people, do the things that they do, even though they don't understand why they do and act the certain way that they do, because we can filter everything through the scriptures, and the scriptures is what gives us the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Obviously, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai gave it to the spirit to come upon us, or Chakodash, for us to get the understanding. And I guess what I'm just trying to say is not everything has to be an argument when the situation calls for you to play dumb. Play Clark Kent, man. We're Supermen, for the example. And sometimes you got to put your glasses on and wear your button up and act like a nerd, man. Maybe act a little dumb or even play dumb. Like King David when he got captured by the Philistines, man. He had all babas, he had drool on his beard, because he used wisdom. Not every contrary opinion that comes across us, deserves to be a whole-blown argument of you trying to defend the gospel right then and there, which there's nothing wrong. Obviously everything is through the spirit, so I'm not telling brothers. Mainly I'm just talking about, with relationships with people that maybe closer at your job, your place of that you frequent, like at the gym, like you don't want no drama or whatever, some weird stuff. I'm just saying, brothers, like the saying in the Marvel comics in Spider-Man, it says, with great power comes great responsibility. So understanding when and where to use that power, is very crucial to you in your daily life, avoiding problems and making your life harder than it has to be. And I know myself has made this problem, or made this mistake early on coming into this truth. I know a lot of brothers that have made this same mistake coming on early in this truth. And I'm just saying that, it is normal, but it is something that you're going to have to really control, in the sense that, our time to speak is during these videos. Do a video on it. Wait till you can, talk to a brother, a sit down, a camp, that's when to bring it in to the camp and talk about it, in the sense that it can be edifying to the body. You can use that example of how you're able to bridle the tongue, to use wisdom and, avoid an issue. Like the scriptures say, a wise man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself. Hiding yourself could be just the words that you use, and that's why I use this video of this boxing coach explaining how a story happened that you read, when a boxer was confronted by obviously someone blatantly disrespecting him, and he decided to get physical after the man threw a punch, which in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with that, because You know, the other guy threw the first punch, and the other guy was just defending himself. But that's why it was murder. That's why he was charged with manslaughter, not murder. He still killed somebody. So in the state's eyes, he still has to be judged, which is show you how fucked up Esau's so-called justice system is. You know, so the point is that Yahweh Bashem Yahushai has given us this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, not to be brutes with it, not to be what's the word? I'm trying to think of the word. Not to be like using it as like as a cloak of maliciousness so you can get one over on people. You know, that's not what this truth is about. First and foremost, we have a godly sorrow that came upon us that wanted us to change our lives, you know, to come into this ministry, you know, and to actually do something about it, because Yahweh Bashem Yahushai first and foremost gave us mercy by allowing us to regain our nationality, regain our culture, our language, and most importantly, the power's name, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, you know, that we can call on for salvation, you know, to fight demons, you know, all types of things, you know. So in the sense that, you know, if someone comes at you talking crazy, because I work in construction and I have heard some crazy motherfucking shit at work, like to the point where these damn Edomites is out of hand, man. But am I gonna start fucking telling, yeah, you a fucking Edomite, that's why you can go in slavery, you motherfucking, no, man, no. So that's what I'm trying to say, is you have to really understand when and where to use, you know, your power in this thing, man, because each brother with this knowledge does have power, man. This is a form of spiritual power of you understanding the scriptures, you understanding the way the world works, and you being able to put it all together in a way that somebody else can understand it, because these scriptures are a Rubik's cube, and you have to be taught how to figure out that puzzle, you know. So I've said enough, and I wanted to get the scriptures that I have prepared for this lesson. The first one is Proverbs 6:16. These 6 things doth the Lord Yahweh hate, yea, 7 are an abomination unto him: a proud look, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood. So a proud look, man, you know, that with your fucking nose stuck up. A lying tongue, man, you slandering, or you're lying on somebody, being a false accuser, a false witness. And hands that shed innocent blood. You want to see blood to kill someone just to do it, or like Esau Edom does, the fucking devil, man. You know, because he gets off by being able to have power over other so-called weaker beings. This is Proverbs 16:8. A heart that deviseth wicked imaginations, that goes into your mind, always being on some fucking super gremlin YN shit. Feet that be swift into running to mischief. Oh, you the first one with your hands up when the homies say they want to fucking slide on a corner store because some fucking family was getting a lot of customers, or they fucking rang up your Twinkie wrong, and you're just down to go with them because the squad going, man. Some stupid shit like that. A false witness that speaketh lies. Again, man, speaking lies on somebody else, saying they did something when they didn't. And he that soweth discord among brethren, which is division, you know, oh, he said this and he said that, you know, just making drama like a bitch, man. You know, so these are things that all come out of your mouth, the tongue. So that leads me to my next scriptures that I have. And this is, you know, I didn't want to make this, you know, too long, because it is, you know, it's self-explanatory, brothers, you know, especially having a certain amount of wisdom, you know, you should know when and when not to, you know, really talk about this. I understand, like I said, I made the first mistake. When you first come into this truth, you want to tell your mom, your dad, your cousin, your sister, your friend, your best friend from high school, your homie that you know is a Judite from way fucking back, you know, like all these people, man. You just want to make it known. You want to post everywhere. I'm an Israelite tribe of Judah, you know, whatever it is, man. You're trying to tell everybody, but all that does is you will realize really quickly that will only bring you more attention and problems. That's why we don't wear our fringes everywhere we go, man. You know, we wear it at camp on a holy garment, you know, not on a little t-shirt undergarment just because you want attention from somebody who may know about the Hebrew Israelites, man. You know, so again, that goes with you moving with wisdom, and moving with wisdom goes with applying the words you say to other people, you know, and that is something that, you know, me myself has been working on, you know, especially, you know, trying to maintain, not like getting too feisty and just irritating, just, not shoving, but just like shooing off or hurrying up the people, which at the end of the day, we ain't got no fucking time to play games with these people. But at the same time, there is edification that you can come with to the body by dealing with somebody in the world that's asking biblical question, as well as, it's good for myself and the brothers, that I camp with, to exercise our spiritual muscles by being able to answer questions on the fly that these people have. So call Allah Yahweh Shemi Shai. Like I said, he gave us the ability to have this spiritual power of understanding scriptures. So again, with great power comes great responsibility. So this is Ecclesiasticus 28:12. If thou blow the spark, it shall burn. If thou spit upon it, it shall be quenched. And both these come out of the mouth, come out of thy mouth. Going into, if you start a spark and you blow on it, hey, that fire is going to get bigger. It's getting oxygen. You go trying to get a campfire going. It'll go bigger and it'll spark the flame really fast. And then it says, if thou spit upon it, it shall be quenched. So, if you get a little spark, you're like, oh shit, that jumped out. Hock some spittle on it, and it goes out quick. Same thing. Igniting and extinguishing a fire can both come out of the tongue, like scriptures say, and both these come out of thy mouth. So if you understand that, your words have power, because the saying in the world goes, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Or there's another one, I am rubber, you are glue, whatever you say bounces off of me and sticks to you. All those little bullshit things you hear in elementary school and you going back and forth with somebody else, man. Well, I have to say, man, words do hurt, and there is many scriptures that say that they do, and this is one that I'm going to use, as well as there's many other scriptures that go into bridling the tongue, the word of thy mouth, going unto all this. But this is the ones that came to my spirit that I wanted to apply to the lesson that and the video that I had with it. This is Ecclesiasticus 28:17. The stroke of the whip maketh marks in the flesh, but the stroke of the tongue breaketh bones. Because getting your bones broken is a harder hit than getting a whip and just a flesh wound. So you can see that, like they say, those words cut deep. This is verse 18. Many have fallen by the edge of the sword. And that's any killing instrument, man. That's so many people that, have been unalived by physical weapons. But what does scripture say? But not so many as have fallen by the tongue. Heavy, man. That's heavy stuff, because if you understand the power of words, you would realize that what the men on the street corners are doing, starting with the elders and apostles at Great Millstone, have changed this world. Man, we have not picked up a single weapon, not confronted or intimidated anybody, nor post that we are a violent organization. Yet all we are talking about is the Bible and using words and history to prove and point the correct way to break down scriptures. And we're the enemy. We're public enemy number one. And you're going to see that increase even more. And the slander against the men of Yahweh Bashim Shai, the slander against the men of the Lord that you're going to see generated through AI videos saying that you did something when you didn't, have your name and number and address posted all on the news, all on the radio, all on, those Amber Alerts. If you've seen this man in your area, all these things, man. So what you have to understand is that Yahweh Bashim Shai is really setting us up, to be hardened. I remember the elder brother Yawanathan out there in LA. He always says you're gonna have more downs than ups in this truth, because you're gonna have to take those L's at work. You're gonna have to take those L's when you just really don't need to argue about the scripture. In the sense that don't cast your pearls before pigs. Don't cast your pearls before the swine, because they're gonna trample you. And I'm gonna get that scripture after I read this, because it's not beneficial for you to expel that information on those people, because them getting that information is not going to benefit them, especially if a brother is talking, and he's been rehearsed in the scriptures and can understand and judge spirits. Like, why would you waste your time on a reprobate, man? So, and that's just something that comes with time because, like I said in the beginning, you want to tell everybody. But when you come into this truth, you're going to learn that not everybody wants to hear it, man. Some people, like the Matrix in the movie, are comfortable with their false reality. But this is Ecclesiasticus 28 and 25. 25. And weigh thy words in a balance and make a door and bar for thy mouth. So make sure your words, weigh thy words in a balance, which means they have to come out correct. Like they say, an unfalse balance is an abomination in the eyes of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So you can't just be straight, oh, I'm just going to be quiet. I'm not going to talk about anything. I'm going to be quiet. Now, look, you're unfalse balance because now you should be doing the work. You should be talking about it. But then again, let's look at the other side of that balance. Oh, I'm at work or whatever at a place where you don't want to talk about it. Because what I say when I'm at work and they say, oh, why can't you come in on Saturday? I just say I have obligations and I have something somewhere that I have to be, that I have already a pre-arranged appointment. I have to be there, and it's something that, I recommend brothers go on the first day or on the first week at least that you start a new job and let your employer know that, Saturdays just do not work, and understand that, that may not always be the case, and it is a case by case, scenario. So, each brother's got to use wisdom, deal and talk with the head of their camp on the best way to approach, a situation like that, and pray first and foremost to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai for wisdom, because you do want to be able to, continue the ministry as well as keep your life as easy as it can be. Because like let's be honest, Akim, our life is already fucking hard. Why are you gonna make it harder on yourself by trying to be a super soldier working for the ministry while you're at work on a construction site or something, man? It just don't make sense. There's a time and there's a place for everything. So man, I was gonna get a scripture. Salakia Yasha Allah. Oh man. Oh, I know it's gonna come to me. Hold on. Man. I just said it out loud. That's why I said it out loud, so I wouldn't forget it. Salakia Yasha Allah. Man, it's gone. Salakia Yasha Allah. I know the brothers that are listening to this lesson are like, it's such and such and such. He just said it, but Salakia Yasha Allah. It just completely slipped my mind. So, as you can understand, what I'm just trying to say is, use your words wisely, Akim. There's plenty of examples, like that man said, you learn word jiu-jitsu, understand how to get people and cut them with the scriptures, cut them with, what really can cut them deep, man. And that is the words of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So, Lord willing that this lesson was edifying, I'm going to close it out there, because the point is made and I don't want to keep rambling on, but hey, Akim, just like they say in the world, choose your battles wisely. Don't attract too much attention to yourself, and you want to stay as low profile as possible. Like I said, you got to get your Clark Kent on. You're not going to be wearing your Superman cape everywhere you go. So again, use wisdom and discernment and read the room, man. If there's some work snitches or some people that are going to be offended, man, just keep it to yourself. So like I said, not to, quench the spirit, because like scripture say, quench not the spirit. But again, we have to be wise. So I'm going to get that one because I wanted to get one more scripture. This is Matthew 10 and 16. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. So again, man, we are the sheep sent among wolves, and we have to use wisdom, which is representative as the serpent, being wise, but harmless as doves. So, hey, man, girdle your mouth. Understand that this is something that can get you in trouble, and we already are going to get in trouble. So why speed up the process? Esau Edom is already coming. Why make it harder for yourself in your regular life with your friends, family, even really, man, even your girlfriend or your wife? This ministry is not for women. This is for men. So you trying to get all deep in the scriptures, man, there's only so deep that you can go until you can understand that, hey, man, the Lord chose you for this truth. The Lord chose you for this ministry. Not everybody is going to see eye to eye and accept things the same way you do. And just understand that that is okay. And that you don't need everybody to see exactly the way you do, because Yahweh Bashem Yahushai gave you the ability to see the way you do, you know, and count that a blessing, because like scriptures say, man, you know, hey, man, the Lord gives a sight to the blind, you know, but he also causes people to be blind and stumble in the dark, you know. So you have to understand that we got to use that wisdom and understanding to move move in this world that causes the least amount of ripples, you know. So anyways, Akim, you know, I hope this lesson was edifying, you know, unto the elect. Till next time, I like to give all glory, honor, and infinite praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Chadash, and double honors to the beloved elders and the apostles at Great Millstone that taught me this truth. And peace and salutations to all you hopeful elect Akim out there laboring, that are pushing this word in truth and in sincerity. Till next time, keep pushing, keep persevering. We're almost out of here. We're almost home. Shalom.